Pastor. I've been doing service projects around camp this week. If you've seen me, maybe from the big truck or whatever I've been doing. But I was reading this verse from Colossians. It talked about being rescued. Like, my mind went to miracles first, and I was thinking about different miracles in the Bible. I was just wondering what your guys' favorite miracles are. Like, what some of them are. You can raise your hand. I was just wondering what your guys' favorite miracles are. Daniel and the Lion's Den, yes. That's awesome. That's a really cool story. Justin?
Resurrection.
The resurrection, yes. That's awesome. Parting the Red Sea. Yeah, really cool. The fiery furnace. Kelsey?
The floating.
I didn't hear what you said.
The floating backpack.
Yes. Lepers. Right. And these are really cool miracles, and a lot of them are like the Red Sea. God was rescuing the Israelites from, the Egyptians, and I'm thinking, well, how come we don't see these kind of miracles nowadays? We don't see God's hand coming down and parting waters for us. We don't see God doing these things anymore. But there was a time in my life when I experienced a miracle. And looking back on it now, and I may not have realized it then, but I saw God's hand at work. A couple of years ago, I had a sleepover, I guess you would call it. My friend came over, and he slept over. I was sleeping downstairs, and I was woken up by my dad yelling. And I didn't know what was going on, but my dad doesn't yell that much, and he's normally like a not talkative guy. But he was yelling for me to come upstairs. And I came upstairs, and something was wrong with my mom. We took her into the hospital, and it turned out that she had a severe stroke. So she had a blood clot back here in her brain, and that was causing some really bad problems. And the doctors told us that she probably didn't have that much longer to live. And the doctors told us to say goodbye. And I sat in a hospital waiting room, and I grabbed my grandpa's hand and my dad's hand, and I prayed. And it seemed like hours. I mean, I never prayed that long. That never seemed before ever. And if you look back at the woman holding the camera right there, my prayers were answered. She's alive. That's my mom. That's my dad. That's my grandparents back there. My prayers were answered, and I got to witness God's hand at work. You see, I met with the doctors. We did absolutely nothing. And that's like, oh, that's comforting. That's cool. Thanks for that. But after I hear that, and I think, you did nothing. You say she should be dead. Someone did something. And now that I look back on it, that thing that seemed so horrible was such a blessing. I got to see God's hand at work. You don't get to see it, you get to see it every day, just looking at this, but you don't get to sometimes see it that personally. And thinking about this miracle, and it reminds me of another miracle that we all receive. I'm going to read your passage again so I can help explain it. It's from Colossians 1:13-14. It says, "For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins." You see, we deserve to be in the dominion of darkness forever. That's what we, as sinful people, deserve. But God, in his loving nature, chose to send his Son down to die on the cross for us. You see, Jesus took the punishment of the dominion of darkness for us, so we can now be in his kingdom of light. I mean, we hear this all the time. We hear this message of the law and gospel, like, oh, you're sinful, but Jesus saved us. And I take it for granted a lot. But the dominion of darkness, I mean, doesn't that just sound scary? I don't want to go there. That's what Jesus took on for us. So we've heard a lot of stories today about being rescued. Catherine from the wax people. And, brought back into this attitude of wanting to serve God. And now, we see my mom was brought back, and these miraculous things happen. And I want you guys to remember that no matter what you're doing, no matter what's going on in your life, whether it's something that's bad, whether it's something that seems small, something that seems really big, Jesus will always come to your rescue when you pray to Him and ask Him in His name. He will always come to your rescue. He loves you. And He took that dominion of darkness for you. And so there was a song that was really, really important to me at this moment in my life. And I would ask that Joel would come up and lead this for us. He wrote this song, actually, and it's been very impactful for me going through times like this. It's called To the Rescue, and I think it fits in with the passage very well. Jesus rescued us.